Hey, there's actually some sun.
Right?
What's that? Nice.
Hasn't been here in a while.
Tammy, Emerson, and Steve, break it all down for you.
Good Monday morning, everybody. December 30th. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. If maybe you had a long Christmas week off, hope you enjoyed that. Maybe headed back to work, or maybe you're still enjoying some time off as we prepare for the new year. Whatever you're doing, hopefully you're enjoying the sunshine that we're seeing over Green Bay right now. Time now 8:09, 34 degrees out there, just above freezing. And yeah, a good start to the Monday. As Tammy, we were joking before we came on here, nice to finally see some sunshine. It feels like we haven't seen it in a while with all this fog that's been out there.
The fog has just been kind of constant, especially in the mornings, and some places really thick.
Yes, and it's continuing to cause some issues to our western counties right now. So we're going to bring in Chief Meteorologist Steve Bailon this morning. Good morning, Steve. It's kind of been like a broken record for you guys. Dense fog. It's been an issue for the past several days here.
Well, that's kind of what happens when you start melting away the snowpack. You know, all that moisture evaporates into the atmosphere and it interacts with the cold weather, and you get these rounds of fog. And you tend to find during warmer streaks of weather during the wintertime a little bit of some fog, because warmer air can hold a little bit more moisture. And so that's helping to contribute to that fog. You tend to not see foggy days when cold, dry Arctic air shows up, which, by the way, is going to be arriving later this week. Let's give you a live view from our Oshkosh sky camera. We love this view of the Opera House Square, and to the southwest it is sunny, it is 30. It looks like a nice morning, and for the most part it is, but I do want to caution you, there might be a couple spots where there's a little touch of black ice, so keep that in mind if you are traveling. This is our nighttime satellite view, and granted the sun has been up now for, let's see here, a little over half an hour, about 40 minutes. And so we're starting to lose our imagery there. But that blue blob there from Stevens Point, Coloma, and west, that is dense fog, and it's freezing fog. And the National Weather Service has issued a dense fog advisory for Waushara, Marquette, Green Lake counties, and to the west. Visibility doesn't appear to be too bad in Wautoma, but if you go west of there, you can see all that yellow on the map. That's where it's like pea soup. Visibility may be dropping down to a quarter of a mile. So if you're traveling in that direction, allow for extra travel time. Even though visibility is better in the Fox Valley and over towards the lakeshore, some of that moisture, not fog, but some of that water vapor has been landing and sticking to the pavement, and temperatures are around the freezing mark. So that could cause some areas of black ice, especially on untreated roads, especially on bridges and overpasses. Your risk of severe weather is low, but if you're heading out over the next hour or so, just give yourself a little extra travel time. You may be forced to slow down, especially on some of those lesser traveled roads where the tires are losing a little bit of their grip. All right, so sunshine, some patchy clouds, especially in the midday and the afternoon. It's going to be a mild December day. We'll see a high of 42 degrees, but most of the day will be spent in the 30s. And there's First Alert Pinpoint Predictor. High temperatures today make their way into the low 40s, a high of 44 in Sheboygan, 38 in Sturgeon Bay, with more upper 30s across the North Woods. In case you were curious, because I think you might be, our high temperatures are going to be about 15 degrees above average for this time of year. But it doesn't last. Our next weather maker is a big change in the weather pattern. As we start the new year, Mother Nature has a New Year's resolution to bring in some much colder weather, which includes some sub-zero wind chills. Those negative feel-like temperatures are most likely Friday morning, Saturday morning, maybe Sunday morning. Our high temperatures will be heading down, down, down into the 20s and perhaps even the teens as we wrap up the week. So we're looking at North America. See that big red L, low pressure over central Canada? The counterclockwise flow around low pressure is going to drag that chilly air from north of the border down into the Great Lakes. And so this mild streak of weather we've had recently does have a shelf life. It is going to end. So there's your First Alert Super 7-day forecast. Some icy fog to the west, sunshine, patchy clouds, a high of 42. Tomorrow we drop back to 35, cloudy with a couple light snow showers. Somebody out there might get a coating. And then there could be a couple leftover flakes for the ball drop on New Year's Eve. Welcoming in 2025, clouds, 29 degrees in Green Bay, wind chill around 20. And our highs will be in the 20s Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can see I mentioned there sub-zero wind chills for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. Let's look at First Alert Pinpoint Predictor. These are those feel-like temperatures late Thursday night into daybreak Friday. A lot of minus signs showing up, so feel-like temperatures at and below zero, with wind chills early Saturday morning, even colder, about 5 to 15 degrees below zero. Now, as we go into Sunday, I suspect we're going to see some clouds. And this is the forecast for the Packers-Bears game. They just announced that it's Sunday at noon at Lambeau Field. I'm going to go with a partly sunny sky. Kickoff temperature around 20. Wind chills coming out of the single digits into the teens as that northerly wind slows down just a little bit. And for now, I have the forecast as being dry, Emerson and Tammy, but I will tell you, around the same time as that Packers game, there's going to be a storm system moving through the Midwest. The latest data suggests that it will pass south of us through Missouri and Illinois and Indiana. They may get several inches of snow, but that is 7 to 8 days away. If that storm track decides to migrate farther north, we may have to make some big changes to that Sunday Packers forecast. All of a sudden, it could become snowy. So it is subject to change as we get more refined data, more reliable data. As the storm system gets closer, we'll tweak the forecast, but that's how it looks right now, that far in advance.
I feel like that would be the perfect ending to a regular season.
Oh, for sure.
Bears, Packers, a snowy Sunday at Lambeau, Steve. Maybe do what you can to pull that north a little bit so we could have some of that snow.
I'm sure the national media coming to Green Bay to cover the game would just love a narrative like that, right? You know, the snow globe of Lambeau Field and the frozen tundra and the biggest rivalry or the longest rivalry in the NFL. It would be really, like you said, Emerson, a great way to end a regular season. We'll see if Mother Nature seems to think so or not.
All right, Steve, we appreciate it. We'll let you get ready for Action 2 News mid-morning, starting in about 45 minutes. And we're going to take a quick look here now at the current road conditions out there. As Steve mentioned, there is the potential for some slick spots out there. So this is the 511 map courtesy of the Wisconsin DOT. You can see all those blue spots, especially to the west of Green Bay here. Lots of slick roads out there, that fog kind of moving through parts of the area, but just temperature sitting right around that freezing mark. So definitely be aware for the potential for some black ice out on the roadways. Just give yourself a little bit of extra time this morning, as we want to make sure everyone is getting to where they need to go safely this Monday morning. So again, just leave yourself a little bit of extra time to make sure you get to where you need to head to safely. Now we're going to talk about a wrap, so to speak, on a busy year in the world of scams. And you've been tracking as many of them as you can, right?
Really, I looked back, I kind of went through and just made a whole list of all the different scams that I've covered, and so many of them similar. You know, I talk about it over and over and over again, but I kind of wanted to highlight some of the top scams that we covered. And not just top in most reported, but also some of the most costly. And I put this at the top, financial scams. These really ramped up this year. Everything from the bank text messages, imposter cryptocurrency investment scams were really big this year. And I had talked to a couple of people, they did interviews with me and just said, I got a Facebook message and it was from a friend and they said they did this investment and they believed it. So from the hacking of Facebook accounts to those imposter text messages, the financial scams were really ramped up this year. Another scam that was huge, job scams. And I talked with a couple of victims. Always appreciate people who come out and say, hey, this happened to me and I want others to know about it.
Share those experiences.
Yeah, they shared their experience, and these were impersonating well-known companies, and that's what makes that believable. And I was going to note that AARP lists employment scams as the #1 scam to look out for in 2025. So we know that that is not going to go away. And then impersonation scams, and these are really, they just run the gamut. And we talked about Spectrum scams so much, Spectrum cable scams, people getting phone calls or text messages, emails saying, they could get a discount on their cable, but they had to pay the full year up front. That was a huge one. Medicare impersonation scams, utilities, WPS, We Energies telling people that, they had to pay their bill right now or else their power was going to shut off, and they had to pay with gift cards. That was always the popular one.
Always the red flag was the
Right?
gift card mentioned.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Tech support scams, those pop-ups on your computer screen looking like they were coming from Microsoft. Just a whole variety of impersonation scams. And then toward the end of the year, what we just had recently talked about, shipping companies, because everybody was waiting for those shipments from their holiday purchases, impersonating USPS, UPS, FedEx, Amazon, all sorts of fake text messages. And really the message there is whenever you're getting these kind of messages, you have to be really careful. Scammers are hoping, and they're doing it more by text message now, hoping that you're going to get this and you're going to click on it quickly and not think about it. And what you're clicking on is a link to that could either, download malware on your device or ask you for personal information or your password. You need to log into your Amazon account. And they make it look like you're going to Amazon, but you're really not. So,
And an interesting note in some of the scams that you talked about was even by just answering the phone or responding, it
Right.
lets them know, okay, that's a working number. That is
Yes.
one that we can potentially exploit or
Right.
utilize. And so it's just as simple as, you see something like that pop up in your preview screen or whatnot, just delete it, right? Report it as junk, just avoid it altogether.
absolutely. That's something that the Better Business Bureau and Consumer Protection tell me to pass along to everybody all the time is do not respond. Don't click, don't answer the phone. Some people say, well, I just want to answer the phone and I want to play with those scammers, or I just want to let them know how mad they make me. But then they know that there's a person on the other end. And
Sure.
so maybe they're not going to get you with that scam, but they're going to try it in a different way. So yeah, that's a really good tip to remember not to reply.
Gift cards, red flag.
Absolutely.
Don't reply. Any other, important tidbits that you want to
So
mention?
one of the things I was thinking about this, a lot of people had questions, and whether it's email or Facebook or calling me and asking about data breach notifications. There were a lot of them. You're getting the letter in the mail, and people's first question is this legit? Is this real? So, there's a couple ways to find that out, and I was always reporting on that, how to verify. I mean, you want to go to a trusted website. I use the Identity Theft Resource Center. It's a nonprofit, national nonprofit. They track all of the hacks, the data breaches, and you can go there and you can find out, is this real? And also, what do you do about it then? So a lot of them they're saying, well, I don't remember doing business with this company. One of the big ones was AT&T, and people said, well, I'm no longer a customer. Well, it might not be this year that the data breach happened. It could have been previously, at the end of last year, or even sometimes they don't realize these data breaches are happening until unfortunately, some time has passed. So, verifying that and then following some steps. You really want to, if you get one of those, you do want to check your accounts.
Make note of it.
I mean, that's unfortunate. They're happening more often. Healthcare and financial companies, those were the big targets for data breaches, and that unfortunately also is likely to continue as well. And just want to point out that we talk a lot about targets, who's targeted in scams, and it's not always older people. I think that's something that's changed. I've been covering scams for 12 years now, and a lot of times it was always, well, they would find the most vulnerable person, and scammers now are targeting just all ages and all, with text messages, I think, really, because those are so quick and easy too, and it's just calling your attention to talk about it.
Sure.
I feel like that's really important. Talking about it, sharing that message, and it's not just, your grandmas and your grandpas who are potential victims. It can be, my college student, my son or daughter. And so that's just important to know about those, and just that scams are also getting better. I talk with a lot of computer experts, a lot of consumer experts as well, and AI is making that where we used to be able to tell emails and text messages or phone calls, they didn't sound real,
Sure.
or there were grammatical errors or spelling typos and things. Not anymore.
They're so realistic
So
now.
realistic, and some of the websites that they're impersonating too are very realistic, where I have even these these consumer experts are saying they're really getting good. So the scammers are getting better. We want to stay one step ahead of them. I'll continue reporting on this through the new year.
Perfect.
To help everyone stay on top of that.
And you can find all those reports from this past year and the ones that will continue at our website, WBAY.com, under Tammy's name in the Consumer First Alert tab. And make sure you're protecting yourself, your money, and everything else. So wonderful, wonderful advice. We appreciate it. We hope you all have a wonderful new year as we prepare to ring it in. Can't believe tomorrow's already New Year's Eve.
Wrapping up another year.
Crazy, crazy. Make sure to watch the celebrations on WBAY TV starting at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. There will be all types of fun from New York, as we shared on our morning show, some of the preparations already underway there. I'm sure there will be a lot of fun going on here across Northeast Wisconsin as well. Make sure to celebrate responsibly if you are. Check out Jamal James' story at our website with a cool opportunity for folks in Neenah to get safe rides home as well. But otherwise, make sure you have that safe driver set up. Take a live look here at Squawky, who's hanging out in Appleton on this Monday morning. He's just chilling out there. It's not too bad.
Enjoying the sun.
Enjoying that sunlight. That is great. Above freezing. We're going to have temperatures in the low 40s today. So enjoy that before the cold spell rolls in. Make it a great Monday, everybody, and we will see you soon.